Welcome everyone to Your First Steps with University Career Services. My name is Stephanie McIntyre. I am the Director of Career Education. For those of you who are not familiar with University Career Services, we are the centralized career support unit on campus, and we serve all students, all of our undergraduate and graduate, and some of our professional student affiliations as well here on campus at UNC Chapel Hill. This is a very important session to jumpstart the spring 2022 semester for those of you who have yet to engage in UCS. And for many of you on the line who may have some familiarity with what we do, this can serve as a wonderful reminder. So there's a few points that we will hit upon during this session today. Number one, you're going to understand the role of University Career Services, known as UCS. We're going to explore the value of gaining self-awareness and also thinking about some experiences, what we refer to as experiential learning or high impact experiences. We'll unpack what that means and the value of those types of experiences. And I will not conclude today's session without addressing some questions. During this time, you can start to fill the chat or Q&A with any questions or comments you may have. Because I am the sole facilitator today, what I will ask is that we reserve me addressing any questions or comments until the end of the session. At that time, anyone also, in addition to putting questions in the chat or the Q&A, you will have the ability to unmute yourself to speak as well. To get us started, I want to give some frame of reference or background of what UCS is. Number one, where are we located? We're located in Haynes Hall on the second floor. And so you'll be able to stop in our office to schedule an appointment if you would like to with our front desk staff. But we'll talk about one of the primary ways in which most students are now scheduling appointments, and that is through our Handshake system. And we'll go into some details around that functionality. Well, for many of you, as you do schedule appointments, I get a lot of questions after the confirmation where it says Haynes Hall. We are located on the second floor, and upon an appointment, you will be checking into our front desk to engage with a career coach staff, as well as members of my student-facing team who are primarily responsible for seeing students individually as you come in for appointments or as you engage with a career coach virtually. We also have a small team of career peers. Peers are primarily undergraduate students who have gone through extensive long-term trainings with our office to be able to support you with some of the basics of career exploration type questions. So things such as resume writing, cover letter development as well. Other things that our career peers are able to support you in are some of the basics of your LinkedIn profile. So those are things that you'll be able to expect and take advantage of and be excited about as you engage with career services this semester. I want to also correct myself and acknowledge, because we are in webinar format today, that I'll be expecting you to put your questions either through the chat or the Q&A. Unfortunately, you won't be able to unmute yourselves to speak, but as I'm going through all of this information, I will make sure to leave that space to address any of your questions and comments. In addition to that, I'm going to put our website in the chat, careers.unc.edu is where we're going to be referring to a lot of our information. And in upcoming slides, you'll see a few of the screenshots that'll familiarize yourself with how to navigate our website. In addition to that, I'm also going to put my email address in the chat so that you can feel comfortable and welcome to reach out to me directly with any other questions or to personalize and tailor any content that I'm speaking about today to your specific needs, interests, and stages of development as you become career ready for life after Carolina. There are many things that UCS can assist you in. As you see on the screen here, some of the things that we really will focus on today is identifying your interests, your skills, and values as you start to explore. And what I mean by explore, that could be yourself first, identifying what do you really like, what are you good at, and how does that fit into now your Carolina experience. And as you start to answer those questions for yourself, maybe not all in totality today during this session, but long term, UCS will then help you to then make some of the connections between what are you learning about yourself and how you can have some more of those experiences to grow in that capacity as a Carolina student. So we can really help you align your interests and strengths with the area community as well as things that are happening here on campus. In addition to you speaking with a career coach, maybe about resume writing or connecting maybe your interest in a specific career path to your academic major, we're going to help you to make connections between how your major is one facet of how you're going to make decisions around your career journey, but how there are things that you may be doing in organizations on campus or through part-time work or volunteerism right now that are also components of your potentially your decision making for your future career. And then we'll help you think through what is your personal and professional identity, holistically, who are you and how you want to grow. And University Career Services can help you do all of those things. You see on the bottom of the screen an image for a few of our platforms. Number one, Handshake. Number two, what can I do with this major? And number three, the Focus 2 academic and career planning tool. On future slides, I'll get into more depth of exactly what that means, what these profiles entail. But I want to emphasize that in this session, this is not a session that's going to go into significant detail around everything that you want to do during your Carolina experience. But as emphasized in this title, what are just some of the initial things that you can do immediately to engage with University Career Services to jumpstart your career readiness? And through jumpstarting that career readiness, your continuous engagement with myself and the other members of my team will allow you to then really have more of a long-term vision for your career success. So as I mentioned before in the last slide, careers.unc.edu, you now also have that link in the chat. It may be something that you want to bookmark on your laptop so that you have a home base for career questions and a direct line to us. When you jump on the site, this is what the screen will look like, the main landing page of our UCS website. And where the finger is pointing is to our resources page. That's important to the rest of our discussion today because I mentioned that we're going to talk about Handshake, what can I do with my major, and the Focus 2 Career Readiness platform. These are all career resources or websites, in addition to many more, that you will find under that resources tab that's pointed out on the screen before us. And when you go onto that resources page, you'll find a laundry list of our different career readiness resources. And I'll take some time to maybe address some more of those, but I wanted to jump right into Handshake. You'll see Handshake as one of those resources on that page. And so I'll take a moment to explain a little bit about Handshake and why it's important for you as early on in your Carolina journey to access and begin to utilize everything that Handshake has to offer. If you have yet to ever access Handshake, there is no need for you to go ahead and create a new profile. As a matriculating student, whether you've never logged on to Handshake or if you have before, everyone accesses this information the same way, and this is going to be through your onion and password. You'll see living in many different places on our UCS website, something that will direct you back to Handshake. And you always want to use your onion and password and never feel the need to create a new profile. Once you do log in with your onion, this will be one of the main landing pages that you'll see. So if this isn't something that's familiar to you already, when you access Handshake for the first time, you will become familiar with this interface. There's a lot of functionality on Handshake that goes beyond just scheduling appointments. But for right now, I'll focus on just your first step, and that is using Handshake to schedule an appointment. So as you see, when you're on Handshake, on the right side of your screen, you're going to see a Career Center button. You're going to make sure that you are clicked on that component because then that's what's going to bring up the option for you to schedule an appointment. So you'll see a red arrow in the top right corner under the Career Center button. And then on the bottom left-hand side, you will see what can we help you find, and that first option being appointments. So you'll click on that button to start the journey to scheduling your first appointment. The next step is that you're going to click on the blue button that will say just that, schedule a new appointment. This will generate either your first or your next, if you've had previous appointments, your next opportunity to engage with a career coach. I want to take this time to mention that there are other career entities on campus. As I started off our introduction today, I mentioned that University Career Services is the centralized career center on UNC Chapel Hill's campus, but that doesn't mean that you may not have or may never engage with other career advisors or coaches within other capacities across campus. Depending on what your academic major is or academic affiliation, you may be interfacing with other centers or other individuals that can engage in your career development. So for example, you're going to see things on Handshake that are related to public health or SILS. You'll see information specifically to business students even. So you'll see a lot of these things. Computer science also has a presence within Handshake because they also have their own career offices. For purposes of scheduling an appointment with the centralized office in which I'm representing today, you'll see two options on this next screen after you click schedule an appointment. They're denoted on this screen through the red arrows. At the top, you'll see in-person appointments with University Career Services. And as I mentioned before, that's Haynes Hall. That's where our office is located. Haynes Hall on the second floor where you'll check in or be greeted by our front desk staff. And then you'll also see at the bottom where the next red arrow is, where it's indicated by virtual or distance appointments with University Career Services. Our main way of virtual appointments are through our Handshake platform. There's actually a web camera opportunity for you to schedule that virtual appointment and be able to engage with myself or a career coach in a very similar way to how you've become familiar with either Zoom or Skype. So make sure as you're scheduling your appointment that you're already thinking about your preference for either an in-person appointment or a virtual appointment, so that when you schedule with one of these categories, the next screen will take you to all the different reasons or appointment types in which you can schedule an appointment with a career coach. Our services include things like resumes and cover letter reviews, as I mentioned before, 30 or 60-minute career coaching, mock interviews, LinkedIn appointments. If you're interested in grad school or law school, we have pre-grad advising or graduate school preparation as well. So as you think about your first steps, if you are indeed just starting your journey with University Career Services, I would encourage your first session being either a 30-minute career coaching appointment, and that can be tied into Focus 2, an assessment that I'll speak about in just a moment. Or if you're starting to think about the experiences that you've had already and bringing to the table, we can make sure you have a solid resume that's jump starting your career journey and taking inventory of what you're doing. And that will be through a resume appointment. And primarily, our resume appointments will be with career peers. Our other appointment types will primarily be with professional career coaching staff members. I'm going to go backwards for just a second. And this is only to highlight that there are other functions that you can utilize on Handshake. In future virtual webinars that will talk about other topics such as internships and job searches, we will talk in more depth about the functionality, but I wanted to at least elevate it at this moment so that you're aware that Handshake is more than just a scheduling platform. Handshake's primary use is to engage with employers. University Career Services has an abundance of relationships within industry, employers, company types, organizations of all types, locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally, have access to Handshake after they're vetted as great opportunities for Carolina students, have the ability to post internships and job opportunities. And whether or not you're early on in your process of career development, it's still great to know that you can access internship and job information. And across time, working with the career coach, we can help you to really sharpen your understanding of the functionality on Handshake and how to search for internships and jobs that may be aligned with your needs. But I at least wanted to make sure that you see on this top right side that you can search for jobs through this platform. And such as the webinar that you're engaging in right now, we promote all of our virtual and in the future in-person workshops, career fairs, and other information sessions. You'll be able to find it through clicking on this events link. You are able to register in advance, which is always a benefit because you'll have quick access to the Zoom link and any registration information, as well as reminders of upcoming events that align with your needs. I mentioned our Focus 2 academic and career planning tool. Self-awareness is a very important skill set that all Carolina students, all college students are expected to begin developing. Because before you're able to make decisions, solid decisions, informed decisions around your academic life, maybe what combination of majors and minors you want to select and why, and how those decisions will prepare you for life after Carolina, it's very important for you to know a little bit about yourself immediately, meaning what is it that you naturally prefer, what you naturally do well in, where do your interests lie, so that when you're making decisions around what you want to do in the classroom and what you could possibly want to do in your future, you'll know that it's going to come from some understanding of what you naturally bring to the table. The Focus 2 career planning tool does just that. It's an online inventory that will ask you a series of questions that will help identify some consistencies and patterns in your areas of interest and preferences. This is going to be a self-interpreted assessment that's going to then bring you back a career profile and other types of interest profiles to give you a good understanding, at least by way of how you answered questions in this assessment, can help you determine potentially what types of majors and academic environments you may be more successful in, and how that may translate into successful marketing towards a certain career in your future. And as I mentioned, although you'll get a report immediately back to you that you'll be able to break down independently, it's important to think about utilizing career services as an opportunity to break down even more what this inventory's interpretation is saying about you, whether you agree with that or fully understand that, and you'll be guided by a professional staff member who is equipped to really help you understand a bit more about yourself and how that may connect with environments both now and in the future that you may want to connect with. When you're on our resources page, as I mentioned a few slides before, when you go to careers.unc.edu and click on resources, you'll find this information and a more detailed explanation of what the Focus 2 is, how you can click on the link to access it. And here's a reminder that it will ask for an access code, and that access code is Tar Heels. In addition to that conversation that can be sparked between you and a career coach after taking the Focus 2 career and academic and career planning assessment, could be another resource, and that is, what can I do with this major? What can I do with this major helps individuals to think less linearly around how one job or one major can equal one type of job or career path. There is alignment between what you're learning in the classroom and the skill sets and competencies that you will be developing that will prepare you for the world of work. But there's no such thing as one major equaling only one type of job or career. So, what can I do with this major is a wonderful opportunity to really look at really any undergraduate major that's in existence. And after looking at any undergraduate major in existence, it will align why certain types of employers within certain types of environments value students who are coming out of certain majors because of the skill sets that you're developing. And that's what's going to make employers attractive to you based on the type of major and course of study that you'll may be focusing on. This only jumpstarts your exploration from the sense of considering certain majors and then thinking about how that can translate into different career trajectories. It's not considered to be a direct translation or a formula for why you should choose one major and or go into any one career path, but it can open doors for more exploration and guided exploration with a career coach. So in addition to now, we've looked at Handshake to schedule that appointment. We've talked about the Focus 2, which is an assessment that you can interpret yourself, but will become even more valuable through speaking with a career coach. And then looking at resources such as, what can I do with this major, to help you start thinking about your preferences both inside the classroom and then how that can apply to environments outside of the classroom now and potentially work environments for you in the future. I want to highlight as well, in addition to scheduling that appointment with a career coach to start unveiling decision making around your academic major and that translation into career options, is really understanding that this is just part of the journey and that there is no pressure early on in your development to have it all figured out and to really want to even commit to any one career path. There's a lot more exploration and opportunity for decision making that will come up in the future. And we'll talk a bit more about that when I outline what we consider a 4-year plan or 4 steps to career success. As you're also engaging with a career coach, you want to also start the opportunity to create your first version potentially of a resume. You can have that then uploaded into Handshake, And even if you're early on in your experience and not necessarily internship seeking or job seeking now, it's important to have the skill sets and understanding how to develop a solid resume that speaks about who you are, your skills and accomplishments, and the experiences you've had. Once you have an ability to do that and have been guided through career coaching and engaging with our career peers, you uploading that in Handshake will absolutely give you a jump start as you do get closer to your readiness towards internship and job seeking. In addition to the work that we do with all students and the availability that we subscribe to for both in-person and virtual appointments and through workshops such as the one that you're engaging with today, we also teach career courses. Members of our career coaching staff are faculty or adjunct faculty for the following courses. We partner with the School of Education to offer Education 111, 211, 311, and respectively, that's our career exploration course, career planning and job searching, and our designing your life course. We encourage you to think through the value of each and every one of these courses and to research on the course catalog the descriptions for these courses. Primarily 111 and 211 are 111 is for first and second year students. 211 is primarily for a junior and senior audience who are more focused on searching for and securing an internship or for a job after graduation. And designing your life is more open to students at any academic level that really wants to hear a more holistic approach to making decisions around all aspects of your life. It is based on life design theory, and I've put an image for the book Designing Your Life if you do have an interest in searching this on Amazon and beyond, where you can get a jump start on some of the theoretical perspectives of career coaches such as myself around how we work with individual students around your thoughts about yourself and the world around you in order for you to make solid and informed decisions around your career journey. As I also mentioned, that there is a theoretical basis to the work that we do, and that is really framed by our approach to working with not just undergraduate students, but also our graduate populations. And that is through our 4 steps to career success model. As you see before you, we have outlined 4 specific steps or stages of development in which we conceptualize any student, any job seeker, any professional at any level that they may be going through or recycling back through these stages. Number one, that first step is self awareness. What do we mean by that? It means what do you know about yourself as far as your preferences, the things that you really enjoy, maybe the things that you don't like so much. What do you already know about your skills? Have you been in enough experiences in diverse settings to know what you're really good at, what types of environments you thrive in, versus things that may not necessarily be naturally a part of who you are? If you're questioning that, then you may be in stage one or step one of career readiness, which is the need to acquire a bit more knowledge of yourself. And as I mentioned, with things like basic career coaching and ongoing career coaching, and the Focus to Career and academic and career planning tool, those are resources that can help you to develop some understanding of yourself. The next stage is career exploration, because now that you have a greater understanding of yourself and maybe an understanding of what you may do well in the classroom, we will want to translate that into other environments or audiences. So, by way of you recognizing your academic major and the coursework that you're doing well in and enjoying versus the flip side of that, we want to then help you to learn more about how your skills may tie into the greater picture of your life. And this is through broad exploration and an understanding of different types of career paths, resources such as what can I do with this major, and other resources such as the Occupational Outlook Handbook that I haven't emphasized today, but is a resource that career coaches use significantly with individuals that can help you understand more about the job market and trends and how you may fit into that. And that's really a part of your career exploration, is truly getting some occupational definition. So as you're making mention of certain types of work that you may want to pursue, it means that you really are doing some in-depth analysis of what that work means, what's the work context, the right types of skills, the right types of experiences that you would need to have now and moving forward in order for you to be prepared for that line of work. Step 3 is about that experiential learning or the high impact experiences that I mentioned when we spoke about what you can expect out of this session. High impact experiences are the things that you do outside of the class that can be considered your work or your job as a college student, more than just getting grades inside the classroom. But consider how active you've already been or looking to be on campus in the future. Are there specific clubs and organizations that pique your interest or that you feel that you can grow from maybe stepping outside of your comfort zone? Are you driven by service and engagement in the community? It may be some volunteer or nonprofit organizations that you may want to familiarize yourself with. If you are interested in research or want to be hands on in a certain career field, it may be working with us as well around a formalized internship or a research opportunity. Some of you on the line may be work study students or work study eligible, or may have part time jobs on campus or off campus, maybe retail or other forms of service. All of these experiences are helping you to develop solid skills that will prepare you for the future. UCS can help you think through what those competencies are that you're developing naturally by way of work and experiences that you're having socially, academically, and in other ways on campus or in the community. That's another opportunity to work with us to update your resume so that you can be very intentional with how you're speaking about these experiences. So UCS not only can help you identify where these types of experiences live and how to promote yourself for them, but one of the things that we do even better than that is to help you make meaning of these experiences. More than likely, you're going to naturally lean into some of these experiences, whether it's a part time job or volunteerism or social engagement on campus. What we can then do is help you think about how those experiences have transformed you and prepared you for work, maybe in ways that you haven't realized. And then in that fourth step, we can help you effectively market those skills. Employers are so interested in individuals who have an eye for and an appreciation for diversity, who are effective team members, can be clear and effective communicators, have flexibility and adaptability to be resilient in different types of environments. Those are just to name a few of what we call our career readiness competencies that you will be developing across time throughout your classwork and other types of work outside of the classroom. And we can help you think through how you're going to market, such as what is outlined in stage 4. You will have a brand, a reputation that stands before you that you'll be able to use as you are then searching for and promoting yourself for future internships, future full-time employment after undergraduate education, as well as if you're interested in grad school, law school, or professional school. These little experiences, these little blocks of time throughout your 4 years matter now towards that next step. Please schedule an appointment with a career services professional so that we can help you really unpack the 4 steps to career success in an even more personalized way that will matter to you and your journey. This is a format of the same concept of our 4 steps to career success as we outline the different workshops and events we have in any given semester. This information can also be found on our website, and it's a way to highlight that everything that we do with students individually as well as collectively through webinars such as right now are with the intention of preparing you for a specific step or stage in your development towards whatever your readiness will be after your life after Carolina. In addition to that, I wanted to highlight our full list of webinars for the month of January. So right now we are involved in this January 18th event right now, your first steps with career services, but we also want to help you unpack how you could potentially utilize your time throughout the remainder of this month of January. We'll have a Zoom webinar on internship search strategies that will be later on this week, January 20th to be exact. We will have at the end of this month also a career fair cram session, which will be a webinar opportunity to learn much more about virtual career fairs, how that is a valuable experience for students at all levels of development, because you may not be internship or job seeking just yet, but career fairs are a wonderful opportunity to be in communication with recruiters and company representatives to prepare yourself or align yourself for future opportunities. And then at the end of the month, we will have an employer meetup where you will be able to attend a webinar with a panel of experts that will talk about how to develop a resume that is going to stand out, that is going to be a wonderful reflection of who you are and what skills and experiences you bring to the table. And you'll hear from recruiters, HR managers who are the ones who are making hiring decisions every day at companies and organizations of all types. If you go to careers.unc.edu and at the top you will find a news and events section, you'll be able to see the full list of all of our offerings for this spring semester, in addition to this snapshot in front of you that is for January. I encourage you all to look ahead and think about what other topics interest you in January and throughout the remainder of the spring semester. You'll be able to register in advance for any of these webinars on our Handshake platform, where you will then have access to the Zoom link, and it will be placed on your calendar, and you'll have a reminder of each event that you've registered for as it becomes up and coming. As you are aware, this workshop is currently being recorded. And what we will do after every virtual workshop is within 24 to 48 hours, it will be uploaded onto our University Career Services YouTube channel so that you can always access this information after our live recording. I want to summarize some of the essential pieces of this webinar thus far before we jump into any questions of the audience. There are a few steps to jumpstart your journey, and as you engage in these immediate first steps, we will be able to work with you as individuals to tailor a career development action plan that will be very specific to you and your career goals. As we mentioned, things like what can I do with this major, focus 2 assessment in conjunction with an appointment with a career coach will help you to jumpstart things like understanding how to navigate Handshake, as well as upload your first resume on Handshake for future use when you are considering internships and job opportunities. As I mentioned before, you now have my email address in the chat. I encourage you and welcome you the opportunity to send me a brief message to introduce yourself and to share maybe any questions you don't want to share publicly today, or to get on my calendar specifically for an appointment. In addition to that, as you access careers.unc.edu and click on Handshake, you'll be able to access your profile, not create a new one, but access it through ONET, through your Onion, my apologies, so that you can then click on the Career Center button and schedule either an in-person appointment or a virtual appointment, and that will be completely based on your preference and or availability. At this time, I am going to open this up to questions. If anyone has questions that you would like to either put in the chat or in the Q&A, you can do so at this time. I'll read out the first question that is here. I see someone has mentioned that they are a freshman. Welcome. As a first year, I think it's so important for you to engage with University Career Services. So I first want to acknowledge and celebrate that. This individual mentions that they are going to be applying to the business school next fall. You're trying to get ahead of what you need to complete for the pre-business passport, which would be attending a lot of not the B school workshops, but I'm going to say our UCS workshops. You're saying, unfortunately, most of the workshops you have class at that time, and you want to know how you can make sure to confirm your attendance. Thank you for this question. If you go onto our careers site, under students, you'll see pre-business information, and you will also see a pre-business passport website. It will outline all of the workshops scheduled for this semester or other engagement opportunities that are stamped by approval by the business school for students considering entering into or applying to the business school. We recognize that particularly in this virtual space that, we may have scheduled workshops at times in which you may have other commitments such as class or work or other obligations. We will be recording these sessions, and so you will be able to access them within 24 to 48 hours on our YouTube channel. And so when you are applying to the business school, you'll still be able to check off that you attended that workshop because you did honestly then review it afterwards. And so then you would be able to attest to that, and they'll be able to, on the admission side for the business school, attest to the fact that you have reviewed the same content that you would have had if you attended the live version. I hope that answered your question. Please, if you had a follow-up question, feel free to put that in the chat. You're welcome. I'm glad I answered your question there. If there's any other questions, feel free to put it in the chat or the Q&A. For anyone who may have come in after I put that initial information, I'm going to put my email address in the chat again. Stephanie.McIntyre, that should be at UNC. And then our website is careers.unc.edu. And that was our starting point today with the screenshots, where you can click up at the top under resources and it'll open up an abundance of information. If I'm not seeing anyone else in the chat requiring any other questions or responses to any concerns about the content that I've outlined today, I'm going to move us forward to the last page. If you have a phone in front of you, you can scan this QR code or simply put in the short URL that we have in front of you here today, and I'll actually put it in the chat as well. This is for a brief survey. to provide us with feedback on the content that we have shared today to determine if we are aligned with your needs. So again, this survey will take just a few moments of your time, but it is a crucial way for us here at UNC, within UCS, to ensure that we are aligning our resources with the needs of our students. You will find that URL in the chat. You'll see it in the screen in front of you. And if you have a phone in front of you or anything where you can just scan this QR code, it will also take you to that information. I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to click stop recording at this time. But I want to thank everyone for being a part of your first steps with career services today. And as I mentioned, this content will be uploaded on YouTube within the next 24 to 48 hours. Everyone, thank you for participating, and I wish you a good rest of your day. Thank you.